what would a cross between ambient drones and a podcast and slow TV look like? Yeah, that's nice. Ooh. Hi, Tim XL here. I've had this idea literally a couple of hours ago about a cool thing I can do with Scapeshift. I've got this other YouTube channel, it's called Luckiest Tim Alive. I started it when I was recovering from my cancer surgery. And the goal was to kind of walk and talk in nature, talk about the process, talk about how I'm doing. I just haven't had the time to edit any of the videos. I've got like a bunch of material from a trip to Norway. I shot a bunch of stuff with my friend Per, which is basically this kind of adventure out into the fjords. The last video that went up on the Luckiest Tim Alive channel was part 1 of that adventure, where basically went and got his camper van and then the camper van broke down and the video ends where we're literally just about to get it started. A spoiler alert, we did get it started. And we did go on an adventure. And we filmed loads of just us talking. And I've been trying to get into the edit for this video for like months, and I've just been getting nowhere with it. There's this one like 35-minute section. It's a nice chat. We go pretty deep. And then also the view out of the front of the van, it's like we're driving out into the fjords as the sun's setting. You know, it's a vibe. I've always wanted to try out this format, like, what would a cross between ambient drones and a podcast and some sort of slow TV look like? So anyway, that's what I'm going to try to do now. I've got this like super rough cut of that footage down here at the bottom. We've got the camera from in the van, and then on the top I've just put some like quick cuts. So it goes between us talking in the van and what's going on outside. But what I want to do is basically create this kind of ambient soundtrack to this journey. First of all, I'm going to export the audio. So I'll drop it in as an AIF. It's done it, great. Because I just tried it with a WAV and it failed. We're going to go into the structure. So this is the channel that the tape player is coming in on. I'm just going to wire that up to noise. And then in the panel, I'm going to go into backing noise and put it into MIDI mode. And what happens in MIDI mode is that it actually turns on the inputs. So it basically means that the signal that's being piped into these inputs here will now go through the noise engine and through its processing. Noise needs to be on, the level needs to be up, and then I press play on this. It's working.
Disappointments.
Oh yeah, disappointments. Ah, okay. Yeah. We're back on the road. It's working. Cool. Cheers. This is my Norway mug. I've wiped the screen. Hopefully the iPhone up there will not. So I'm gonna mute the audio here. Disappointments. And just play back the visuals in the background, so I've got some kind of reference. Growing up, getting old, being a disappointed optimist. Yeah, okay, let's dial back the effects. It's polysynth.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, okay.
That's kind of a nice vibe.
But I think this stupid optimism.
Try some saturation on that audio.
Still silly enough to think that something fantastic is going to happen around the next corner. Yeah.
Actually, let's have a look at the mix. So I'm going to give it quite a sort of compressed sound. Actually, no, let's dial up the saturation there. So this saturation is like tape saturation, so it's a lot more gentle than the saturation here.
They just fall into being really bitter and jaded.
I'm going to dial the tempo back.
Sometimes
let's dial up the high pass. Yeah, that sounds better with the high pass. I'm just wondering, I kind of like
putting this, I don't know, glossy filter on mundane things, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of like that. What happens if we dial back in some effects?
I totally agree.
Oh, tape, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
By the possibilities that they throw out.
That'd be a good way to end it. Okay, so the next thing I want to try here is using the resonator. So piping the recorded audio into the resonator.
Getting out of an overstimulated.
Yeah, that's nice.
It makes you want.
Okay, I'm going to have a look at the key here and just make sure. What we've got. Okay, one, C minor. Let's add in a sixth note. Do we want a chord sequence? No.
If you're 14, 15 and watching this, maybe you're watching this.
I mean, some of the shit we're chatting is like as if there'll be 14, 15-year-olds watching this. It's so deluded. It's so delightfully deluded, but it's kind of what happens when you go through a wild near-death experience and then go into the depths of nature. Right. More feedback.
This must be kind of quick.
This stuff is like basically changing the notes of the resonators. I think it's nice. Let's just keep it on one chord. Strictly drones. So this is a like post filter for the resonator, and it's actually triggered by the drums. So what I'm going to do is turn the drums on. Ooh, actually, do we want drums? That's kind of nice. I mean, you can no longer hear what the hell we're saying, but I mean, does that even matter? So my intended workflow here, dial in a bunch of different patterns, save them here. In fact, I'll start saving patterns already. And then basically build this really long sequence down here. So down here is where you can like sequence patterns, and then basically build this like 35-minute evolving playthrough. Those drums are quite nice, actually. So kind of Boards of Canada-y. Getting some strong Geogaddy vibes here. Oh yeah, what I was going to do, I'm going to get sidetracked a lot here, just so you know. So these filter triggers here are triggered by the drums. So now, oh yeah, that's nice. I love how all the sounds and the recorded audio are just like competing. So there's some pretty extreme multi-brand compression going on here, which just gives that really kind of like squeezed, squashed sound. Add this pattern. Well, that was going on in the bass. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, so the bass is going to the resonator. Oof. Ooh.
Yeah, and actually, I don't know. We'll see.
So what I'm doing here is just dialing back the filter envelope amount, modulation amount. Do you know what? I think this tape saturation might be a little bit much. Yeah, this is nice. Dial that back up into the resonator, sending more bass into the resonator.
It was just the biggest central.
Oh man, this is ace. Let's turn off the resonator now.
I'm slightly losing my thread here.
I think I'm going to try some effects on the bass.
But I sort of lost it now.
That's kind of nice.
That being like you don't.
It's dangerous stuff though, messing around with effects on bass.
So if you're
You can get really carried away with it, and then
content creation
afterwards when you listen back, it's just like, ugh.
just music.
Who the hell decided to put reverb on the bass?
Have to.
What kind of idiot would do that?
You don't have to build a relationship with gatekeepers.
Turn up the bias here.
And each time you throw something to the wall, you know, the data.
Bias kind of makes things a bit more,
Rather than
just makes the audio kind of crackly. Basically,
which is kind of reads
only the peaks.
really complex.
You're kind of
Penetrable social.
bringing up the sort of noise or the wave floor, if you like. If you bring it right at the top, it just basically sounds like a crackly radio. So it's quite a nice way to make things sort of disappear.
Like there was a lot less room for experimentation, I guess.
Let's try some polysynth.
And then I understood that was, for him, that was.
I mean, that's just great as it is. Dial the drums back.
We had to dig out all the stuff up here. We had to kind of
Mute the bass.
music. We had to
Maybe it's a little bit repetitive. Let's dial in some variation.
and
Let's do it
the negative
every fourth, fifth. So,
is the gatekeeper. Keeping.
oh,
So I'm like, I have this, like with everything, I guess, I have this two-edged thing about it. That,
yeah.
yeah.
Basically, this is an FM, like simple two-operator FM synth. So oscillator 2 modulates the frequency of oscillator 1. You can change the pitch ratio here. You can make it kind of like enharmonic. That's a bit that's a little bit aggressive, I think. Okay, let's dial this amount back.
And then get kind of recycled back into the next wave.
Oh, it's nice with the. So I dialed the drum level back, but all the effect sends a pre-fade. So you've got this nice kind of just like drum hi-hat reverb tails, just like swishing around in the background, which is lovely. So we've got zero frequency modulation going on. So basically, you're literally just getting sine tones from oscillator 1, and that fuzz is coming from the tape saturation. So if you dial the tape saturation back, then you get much purer tones. Yeah, it's kind of like halfway that you really start to hear, you know, up to this point. The tape saturation just feels like a bit of warmth, a bit of heat, and then when you dial up over there, you can really hear the crunch starting to come in. Let's go back to the polysynth. Turning up the amount that oscillator 2 is modulating frequency with oscillator 1, and then let's modulate the modulation amount.
Ended up influencing the way the world is now.
Change that pattern a bit.
That's a really rewarding thing about.
Let's have a look at the delay.
Back, it's quite exciting.
Yeah.
To see in hindsight.
Yeah, that dub delay just
Completely non-linear. The relevance
giving a bit of character in there.
happens in the past is.
Yeah, that's cool. So it just,
Yeah.
to see them coming.
Yeah.
It's really cool. That's really interesting. And that's the kind of. That's
probably
my faith in humanity.
About as much drums as we want there. What's it like with the bass back in?
Stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about. Probably the only thing I love about humans.
Yeah, I like this. It's a polysynth a bit loud.
Things rigidly, and I just don't think.
Yeah, maybe a little bit too loud.
But I think this.
I kind of feel there's enough going on here, but is lead going to bring anything? Oh, actually, it was quite nice when it hit that high note when it came back in.
Adult-ish life when I was plugged into news and current.
Hang on, let's mute everything else. I'm just not sure about those lower notes, but maybe. Okay, I'm going to dial in velocity, dial down the range. So we get less notes coming through, so there's only just a little note every now and again. Little hauntings, little ghosts. Is that feedback a bit too much? It's kind of nice.
Always been like that. And
It's just it's quite dense already. I don't know if we need that.
is
Let's just add it in anyway.
celebrate the chaos, celebrate the carnage.
Yeah, and also you see how, I mean, the kind of like nostalgia for like
This is ace. Ah,
Yeah.
it's like
a bit more reverb for those leads, so it's just so they.
political side of the chaos that took place. And then somebody
Oh yeah, that's nice.
experienced this documentation as, oh yeah, you missed
Oh, the resonator. That's what's missing.
it. Totally better happen before you.
Okay, so now those chords sound a little bit static, so let's bring back a bit of.
So everything that's fantastic is not happened yet.
And that lead, there's like one note that keeps on coming through in that lead line. I think we need. So I'm dialing in some more repeats, so it should. No.
I mean, a bunch of fantastic stuff has happened.
Maybe let's get some variation in that every fourth,
And you can't make it really
Because now you know
3.
rules that you have a rule book to follow to try and recreate something. And
Yeah, getting a bit of motion
still a little bit of light. Just enough light to make out those.
for the view. Do we need any drum variations? Let's turn down the brightness of the hi-hats.
the tracking control on your chest and this stuff.
Oh, it's quite nice actually with that
Just make all sorts of
duller hi-hat.
weirdness happen.
That sounds awesome.
Oh, how about some wonk?
That tracking filter on your phone anyway. Now.
Well, yeah.
So this is a wonk type 4.
Easily.
So this gives it a bit of a more kind of, you know, lo-fi hip-hop, J Dillery lollop.
Nostalgia. This is us.
I don't know. I think I've overused wonk a bit up until now. I don't know if it's good. We got some swing. The swing is nice. Maybe like a different wonk, like wonk 7. Oh, actually no. Let's try 3. These leads are doing me head in. I'm gonna do a phrase mask. Fade it in, fade it out. Just so these leads kind of come in and out a bit. Oh, the audio stopped. It's kind of nice without the audio, if I'm honest. Right, let's try a bit of a poor man's sync.
Right.
Okay, it is kind of synced.
Disappointments.
Oh yeah, disappointments.
Anyway, wonk. Do we want it straight? That's quite nice, just like just knocking those beats slightly off their perch.
Well, I think it's easier to. Hey, look, reindeer.
Oh,
Yeah.
No,
Me likey.
life is always full.
Let's bring this lead back.
That didn't work.
Have I made you disappear altogether, lead? Oh no, there you are.
But I think this stupid optimism. The kind of
Let's try polysynth.
that we had. It's easier to kind of handle these.
Just changing the amount of
like crazy.
modulation on the resonator, post-resonator filter.
Jaded as soon as
It's maybe a little aggressive.
Oh yeah.
the way, you know,
I mean, it's kind of nice though.
the future not being what you thought it was going to be. And you just fall into being really bitter and jaded.
Oh man, I'm so glad I had this idea. I could just vibe out to this all night.
With reality in a way.
Yeah.
With seeing reality.
Don't want to duck the audio too much, because otherwise we might. I mean, it's quite nice. It's still, well, certainly like in the headphones, it's still comprehensible. Like I can still pick out
don't think
what's being said. I think you should be able to follow the thread of the conversation right the way through, even if like you have to be really tuned in to do it. But man, I'm just imagining like drifting off to sleep with this. I think I want to give this like a really long arc, so it just takes ages to fade in and then fade back out. Shifting up the filter and the resonator. Let's drop everything back out.
Yeah. But then again, I have kids and I know people from all ages.
So we start
Getting out of
with this.
It's like you can't even dream of escaping it because you're overstimulated.
Yeah.
Whereas boredom is great because it makes you creative, makes you want to make things.
What you've got to
Oh yeah, I'm glad I dialed those hats back.
Yeah, it's kind of being under.
Those are well aggressive.
Any stimulant, anything can trigger you on.
I'm going to turn on the hover over audition because this is really useful for working on sequences. Because it means that you can basically scan through the sequence. You'll see in a bit. I'm going to dial that back there.
The platform, a lot of love for
Or reload that into that section, and then
these amazing stories. But also, I find it really easy to just kind of get stuck into I just get, the algorithm just pins me down to the seat.
dial back the resonance. Okay, let's save that one and that one. Drag that out here, and then let's play.
And when you're at that.
So this should just
and
slowly
you've got so much energy and
lift the filter
enough about the world to know
on the resonator.
and you've got
That's probably a bit slow.
synapses going to dream up this future that you want to run towards.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
So my plan is to basically make a sequence that runs pretty quickly and then adjust all the timings afterwards. You'll see in a bit. So where do we go from here? Yeah, okay, let's dial in that.
If I had to take in
And then maybe...
Yeah.
What about bass?
Things are so much more ephemeral than,
Yeah, I think bassline next.
and I think, the pressure
And add that twice, and then I'll bring that back here. So you basically get a drop. So the bass drops in. Let's try this back from...
that's like a step change from, I think, when we were kids.
That's interesting. Yeah.
I just really good look at what I'm trying to do with this channel. After, I guess, trying, 45, I've tried out loads of different things. And I guess they've all...
Yeah, not bass. Actually, let's go full drop here, because I think it's going to be nice if...
I think it's just a bubble, and
No,
I don't know.
just the kick.
See
I'm laughing
how that works.
Yes, do some AI video or whatever. And I'm sorry, mate, but
Yeah, let's add that in, do something like that.
that was not AI generated before that. It's also artificial. It's on the screen.
Actually, let's just scroll through.
Or whatever, documenting something that really happened, but it's still not this. It's not nature. It's not real.
Oh, yeah, that's nice. Let's fade the bass in.
That reality is any medium
Bring the polysynth in, but without any FM, so it's basically just sine
in a
tones. Okay.
representation.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're
Okay, I'm just gonna
individual.
create
And then you can go
variations
AI or
on the fly now and just kind of flow through this whole sequence, and then we can retime it at the end.
ourselves to the early internet. It was it's a big world.
Basically, when you've got this audition mode on, you can literally just mouse over the sequence and kind of play it through and audition it in real time. So you can kind of just
last decade or two.
play the sequence, if you like.
You know, it's just
Need to work to a drop here.
the world is now intermediated by you know,
Okay, let's do...
what we like now, rather than
Take the feedback up to infinite.
and I think that's
Send more of that.
because we used to, you know, I used to have
Dial the range back.
absolute legend.
Let's send...
I mean, if you're new to content creation,
Okay, no, that's too much.
just new to culture in general,
Okay, let's try this. And then
The curators that we grew up with
let's do a...
understand the significance, you know. I mean, for me, not growing up in the UK, I was like, and then
See how this sounds.
was like, for him, that was,
Yeah, this is progresses very slowly.
you know, weird.
Let's just skip it forward to here.
To get it, we had to hunt it down.
yeah.
And I think the negative aspect of a curator is the gatekeeper,
Yeah.
keeping stuff out. So I'm like, I have this, like with everything, I guess, I have this two-edged thing about it.
Yeah.
Everything was gatekept.
Let's just go back to the beginning. This should be...
Right.
Okay. There we are, in sync.
Where we got to?
I think we were talking about disappointments.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
let's send this full screen.
Okay. We're back on the road. Pear's got his coffee. I've wiped the screen. Hopefully the iPhone up there will not fall off. We're free to dig into disappointments. Growing up, getting old, being a disappointed optimist.
The disappointed optimist.
The disappointed optimist. Yeah, but it's kind of, it's a funny one.
Well, I think it's easier to. Hey, look, reindeer.
Oh,
Lots.
oh yeah, reindeer. Yeah, I actually ran into, well, I didn't run into one. I encountered one on the road
Oh, yeah.
yesterday. Got
Yeah.
some good footage while I was talking to camera, so it was nice.
What a lot of them.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah. Also, where we're going.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, I think maybe life is always.
Generally, nice. This is working nice.
What I do. Difficulty that a lot of people are struggling with.
Yeah.
Whereas I've always
Oh, yeah.
tried to view
That's nice, actually.
as possibilities. If you're certain of something,
I think that needs to kind of unfurl a bit, that, like, drop.
like the
Let's try doing it
everybody wanted to get
Like
out
this.
of a boring place and create something new.
Yeah.
And I think
rather than just slamming straight in. It needs to sort of
we're stimulated. Right.
fall gently back into the drums and the bass.
You hit that age like 14 or 15 when your like cultural antennas like switch on big time. And that's the age where you're just like so open to new things. And it isn't like, yeah, I don't know.
Let's do this.
Yeah, get out
Just
there,
turn off the effects.
But and I have a lot of love for the platform, a lot of love for all of the people who are creating content on YouTube and telling all these amazing stories. But
Let's do something with these claps.
that must take a lot of energy. But then also, like, it's a massive opportunity because you can be the person that's,
That's quite nice.
the next me. And
Maybe we could shift the brightness of the hats up.
you can build an audience off the back of your career to be that thing.
Okay, so the lead and the polysynth are fighting.
That you can build.
But let's do that. So we basically crossfade between the lead and the polysynth.
The bubble and
Voices are getting a bit lost though.
yeah,
Individual experience. And then you go,
Yeah, That's nice.
Yeah.
Or a very well.
But about the general application of AI.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no. But I mean, it's
Just taking some of the snap out of the kick drum.
about it now.
Right, so the polysynth is gone.
That being.
Now, what goes next? The bass or the resonator?
So if you're,
Oh, and that clap as well.
or you just.
Do you know what?
In general, like you.
I'm gonna dial the tempo back.
You know, you
So the tempo, there's a tempo ramp there.
throw stuff at the wall. That's what these kind of big
And
data sets.
add that same pattern at the end, just for good measure.
Just like chuck stuff out,
Okay,
but then it also ends up
we have a sequence.
in clickbait. Right. Can't remember where we got to. It's coffee. I've wiped the screen. Hopefully it's a funny one.
Yeah,
Well, I think it's.
this is good. Yeah, let's leave it here because I think all I need to do now
Well, I didn't run it.
is basically go through. I'm pretty sure that this sequence is going to need to be like twice as long,
Nice.
roughly twice as long as it is here. And basically, all I need to do is just drag out these markers here.
Well, maybe.
So basically, go through with each of these transitions, double them. In fact, I can do that now. And then, as you see, everything downstream from that point gets expanded. So it's really easy to make sequences that you can just, you can make like a 1 minute version and a 2 minute version or a 10-minute version. And you just drag out these markers. Yeah. I'm so glad that I had this idea and did this. If you want to do stuff like this, go grab Scapeshift. It's in my store. The link's in the description. I also have a Patreon. I would love you to become a member of my Patreon. Help support me doing more stuff like this, having crazy ideas, filming them, putting videos out about them. So my current plan is to put this full-length video up on the Luckiest Tim Alive channel, and if my future self has obeyed my past self, then there's a link in the description now to that video. And maybe my good future self has also put this up on Bandcamp. If that is the case, then there's a link to that in the description too. Go and grab the full length. That also helps support me. Yeah, man, what a trip. I want to do more stuff like this. Thanks for tuning in. More coming soon. See you in the next one. Ciao for now.
Everything.
Yeah. But do you think